is at its highest in the last 12 years. Also, 67% of the recruiters say that the biggest challenge in Hey there, welcome to Placement Season, India's best placement preparation site. In today's webinar, we will be discussing about will you be hired this placement season? Most of you might wonder, is this even a topic of discussion? But with the facts on the screen, I hope that this is a very important topic of discussion. The global talent shortage it is at its highest in the last 12 years. Also, 67% of the recruiters say that the biggest challenge in hiring is the lack of high quality and skilled candidates. I hope this reason is enough for us to understand what are the changes, or as they say, the differences in the hiring process that has been introduced in the recent times. All right. So, what exactly is the agenda of today's webinar? We will be looking into the difference between the old hiring process and the new hiring process. We will also be looking into technology in specific for hiring. We'll Apart from that, we'll also be talking about skills that a company looks out for in a candidate while hiring, so that will you be hired this placement season becomes a definite yes. Without wasting much of your time, let's get started. So, what are the top four trending careers? The first is the cloud and the distributed computing. Cloud, a small storage or a remote storage, has changed the way data is being stored over the internet. Apart from that, we have statistical analysis. Data, they say, is the new oil, and data mining is one of the top trending careers. Last but not the least is the middleware and integration software, a plumbing tool between the front end of the and the back end of the technology. All right, all this sounds really fine, but I have my own concerns. This following slide will help you to become better. The game changers. For all those people listening to me right now and who have this inferiority complex saying that I come from a small city, I come from a very small town, my college is not as fancy as any other private or an IIT institution, what should I do? I'm not even aware of the latest technologies that is happening around me. Infosys InVQT, a certification free of cost, which you can take up in while doing your engineering, and engaging learning platform that provides level playing field to all the engineers across the country. And if you're listening to me right now, you get a discount coupon called InfiWeb15. For more details, check out the description box given below. And the fun part of doing Infosys InfiQT is if you perform well in the certification, you do get a job offer at Infosys. All right, I have learned the technology, but I was not able to clear it. And still, I come from a tier 2 city. What should I do? You should apply for exams like TCS Ninja, Wipro National Level Talent Hunt. They are small but concrete steps taken by the company to provide level playing field to all the engineers in the country. Last but not the least, they have changed the method of hiring. For example, IBM has bought in Cognify, a big change from last year. All right. So, with all these small but concrete steps, MNCs are trying their best to give you a job. All right. Last year, in the month of Jan, was considered to be a dark year when it came to unemployment. It was the highest. If you look into it, the black line represents rural unemployment, whereas the red represents the urban unemployment and the total unemployment. And it has always been touching close to 6 plus. So my concerns with you are pretty real. The numbers speak for themselves. So what was the traditional approach for hiring? Initially, they identified the applicants. Mostly it was the job description that they looked out for. And then they started attracting the applicants by newspaper advertisements. Recently moved on to, or in the last 10 years, they've moved on to job portals. After the resumes were collected, the processing of information happened. And first, it was all and all humans. Later on, it's become humanoid. We have an algorithm that picks up resumes. Last but not the least was to communicate with the applicants, either through telephonic rounds or moving a little ahead. There were rounds like Skype, and right now we use Proctor test where you sit at your home, you turn on your webcam, and you take up the test. This is how much the traditional approach of hiring has changed. Moving on to the difference between what were the old rules and what were the new rules. Just to give a gist of what you see on the screen, the old rules basically focused on long term and static jobs, whereas the new ones are available for freelancers on contract basis and on crowds. The old rules were old school, where artificial intelligence was seen as a job replacement parameter, whereas now we see artificial intelligence to work in hand with our workforce. Initially, the HR tried to improve only the skills of the existing skill set, whereas now the HR's job is to train the workforce, reinvent them, motivate them to learn better technologies. So, the mantra for today's hiring is unlearn to learn more and to become better. So, if you have this attitude, getting job will become easier. Okay, have the MNCs changed their hiring method? The simpler answer is yes, and we have been discussing it since the beginning of the webinar. The use of technology in hiring and how much online assessment tools with video technology is something that we are currently using. Apart from this, there's always been the idea of chat box that recruiters have started using. We may wonder, like, why is it, even a concern for hiring? But basic questions like, what are your hobbies? What is your skill like? Everything, major of the companies use chatbots, and the numbers speak for itself. They help 67% of their time, 30% of their cost, and it removes human biases by 43%. That's a very big number. What are the different companies that use it? Johnson & Johnson to reduce gender biases and improve response rates. Vodafone uses chatbots to streamline their recruitment process. Aegis Worldwide uses text messaging as a medium that has shown to have increased the response by 45%. Apart from this, companies have started using pre-screening online assessment tests to check the candidate's soft skills. It has decreased the number of bad hires by 60%, and the names you can read: City, Reebok, and Airbnb. Also, using psychometric analysis of tests and bringing in games for understanding the cognitive ability of a candidate, companies like IBM and Accenture, Hyatt have bought in changes in their recruitment pattern. This has led to 20% increase in diversity of hires and 65% increase in the retention rates. Virtual reality is the new reality. This is something that we may expect in the next 8 months. You can have recruitment through virtual reality. Layout Banking Group is using VR to engage employees in stimulated 3D environment to evaluate their skills. And a good level of scoring differentiation indicates that VR can effectively differentiate between different levels of capabilities in the candidate. So, what is it that corporates look for? Corporates hire people for their values and not for their degrees. So, even if you have a high level degree from a top notch college, if you do not have the right value or the skill set required by the corporate, probably you will not be hired. Now, what are the top 10 soft skills and expected to have for an engineer? First is problem solving skills. Second is critical thinking. Third is creativity. Fourth is people management. Fifth is coordinating with others. Sixth is emotional intelligence. Seventh is judgment and decision making. Eighth is service orientation. Ninth is negotiation. And tenth is cognitive flexibility. Out of all this, even if you have three skills, you can always and always add a technical skill to it and make that presentable to the HR. They are looking for talent outside, provided you give them what they require. And what are the top 10 technical skills that an HR looks for? He looks out for Python, React, Angular, machine learning, Docker, the Django, CompTIA, Amazon AWS, deep learning, React Native in the mobile form. So, to conclude, there are jobs outside. It's not that the unemployment rate, there are no jobs. Unemployment rates do not refer to no jobs, it refers to lack of skills to fit in those jobs. Our idea should be filling in those skills, and the only way you can fill in those skills is through practice. We at Placement Season can help you doing that. Call us, talk to us, write to us, and let us know what exactly do you want us to do next.